He is the voice behind most of the popular adverts we see on TV or hear on radio. With his expertise and powerful voice, he has advertised for countless of major Ghanaian brands. This is Talkatainment, and I am your host, Elsie Lamar. Ato Kwamena Aikins is our guest for today's show. Welcome to Talkatainment.
Talkatainment, thank you.
So how is it? How is it with you and business so far?
Well, we've been trying. You can't complain. Yes, so the business has been good by the grace of God. Yes, and we've been managing ourselves through it, so that's cool.
How does one become a good voiceover artist?
Becoming a good voice artist. I usually tell people that everyone has a good voice. The difference is confidence and then practice. Because if you keep practicing, you'll get better, irrespective of your voice. So to become a good voice artist, it's about you constantly practicing and, knowing exactly the texture of your voice without stressing it or trying to sound like someone else. Be yourself, practice, and that is it.
So when was this particular vision, the vision of becoming a voiceover artist, when was it conceived?
I had always known I had a good voice. People have been saying it. And so somewhere around the year 2003, I did my very first commercial, but that one was something that I wrote myself and then it was my cousin's phone shop that I did for. But when I really came into the voiceover business itself was 2009. That was when I started doing real commercial voice.
Did you receive any formal training with respect to this career?
Formal, if you say formal, as in going to
Schooling,
school,
yes.
Not really, but I had someone coaching me. And I'll tell you that I'm still learning. I'm not there yet. Even though one will say that I've been in it for a very long time, but I still get directed anyway. So you go somewhere and someone will tell you that, look, I want my job done this way. And you have to do it that way for the person. So yes, I actually got training. Someone was there to tell me that this is how to do it. This is how to go about it. So yes, there was a training, just that it wasn't in a classroom. But there was a training.
Do you plan on establishing one yourself?
I don't have any plan about that yet. I know, but I was teaching voice performance in a media school, Insight Media College. Yes, I did that for 2 years, and then outside the classroom, I've also been training some people, to also get into it, just as I was trained by someone.
So far, would you say your craft is well appreciated in the country?
I would
Does
say
it pay?
It does. It does pay. Yes, like I said, but for some few ones, few bad nuts in the game, it pays. And once you do the job and the client accepts it and it's run for, some run it for a year, more than a year, depending on the promo they are running. How long they want to run the promo. Once it is accepted, then you know that, yes, your job is appreciated.
So how do you come across these contracts?
It's funny. Well, I used to be in a production house. What we do is that we have advertising agencies that we work with. So these agencies, they go to the client for the job. So they pitch their ideas or concept or whatever they have to the clients. And then the clients then accepts it as, okay, they write a script and they bring it to us, like in a studio like this. So when it comes to us, we look at which voice will be good for this very commercial. It isn't every voice that is good for any commercial. So you have to look at it. And once the voice is okay for it, you go with it. So it is the agencies, the advertising agencies They are the middlemen. They will go for it from the client and bring it to us. And then the production house will then call you, a voice artist, to come and do the voice. So you do the voice without really knowing the client. That's how sometimes it is.
Have you ever had your work rejected before?
Yeah.
On what basis?
My very first job that was rejected, I think that was my early stages. I remember I did something for NIB. And then the guy who brought the job to us called my boss and said, Kofi, now when I'm on your voice no? They Kofi with them in person. No one already voice to say Benez and Pabi on money's with GTV.
Hey.
And to be very honest, that was my early stages, and I was like, "Oh, Charlie guy, when I check a camera, the way he said it, and my boss actually put the phone on loudspeaker, so I heard everything. It was a little crazy for me, but that was what we wanted to do, so we still stayed in the game, and of course we've done a couple of them that has been rejected. Sometimes it's not because they don't like the voice. Sometimes they don't even like the script. Sometimes too, they wanted a female, and then the communication didn't go well. So a male does it, it goes, and then they say, "Oh, we don't like it. We wanted a female for it." So yes, my job has been rejected on different basis.
That was your first job, like
No,
you said. That was your first.
NIB, it wasn't my first job, but those were my early, stages in the game.
Did that break you in any way, considering the fact that it was your early time in your career?
I would
It
say
was an early time.
yes. I would say yes because I did it with all joy, and even though we know we're struggling with it and all, but we're trying our best. So the guy could have been a little lenient, but some people. But later he became a friend. I didn't really fight him anyway. And of course I knew that the beginning of everything was difficult. And once I was determined to do it, nothing could stop me. I just had to continue.
How did it make you feel about yourself at that moment?
I felt
Considering the fact that the phone was on loudspeaker and you heard everything.
I laughed.
Deep down, how did you feel?
Deep down, I was like, "Oh, about it. We have to do our best." All these things are challenges. And challenges are not in to break us. They are just in to make us strong. And so I took it as he was telling me to just up my game, and do better. And today, if I should do a work for that guy, I'm sure he'll be happy. Yes. So yes, I'm a human. So definitely that will get to me in a way. But that couldn't stop me from doing what I wanted to do.
Have you had to throw away a bad script because it didn't turn out the way you expected it to?
Turning it out sometimes is difficult because that's what the client wants. The only thing is that it becomes difficult in reading. If the script is not well done, it's not well structured, it becomes difficult for you, the voice artist. And so you do back and forth, even though and you see, the thing is that once you are not happy with the script, some way, somehow it gets to you and it gets in your way of reading or performing it. So at the end of the day, he's the one going to pay the money anyway. He said, "This is how I want it." And sometimes I tell the people that, "Charlie, the script is too somewhere." Say, "Charlie, yeah, did we call you? But this is what the client decided to take. And they are the ones paying our bills. So what can we do than to do it?" The only instance where I've had to turn down, and I don't really turn it down, those are cheese scripts that are already done in English and they are to be translated into Chi. And then some people do it, and because they think they go to church, they read Chi Bible, so they can do translation for commercials. So sometimes what I do is that when you do that, I tell you that this translation is not right. So I'll then do it my own way for you. But I don't reject the script entirely. No, that's somebody's work. That's another creative person's work. So you cannot reject it. And that's what the client wants. So normally, if it is chi, I'll do the translation for you and tell you that this translation, dear, is not commercial. Because the job also has its own language. So it doesn't matter that you understand chi or you understand Gan or you know how to speak English the best way. You have to, follow that language, and do it. So chi scripts, yes, sometimes I don't reject, but I try to add add to it the best way I can. Yeah.
Which is the hardest? The Chi voiceover thingy and then the English one. Which is the hardest?
The hardest to read?
Yes.
Well, they are all cool. I mean, once you know how to go about it, they are okay for me. Yes, because I do translations as well. So I mostly read my own translator scripts. So any of them is okay by me. Any of them.
Has there ever been an instance where you submitted a work that you were so unsure of to a client, but it turned out well?
Yes, of course. There are some of them. You do it and you're like, this one there, I didn't, And even in my own studio, I do it. Sometimes you put a song and you are like, I don't really like this. Or sometimes your voice is not even in the best position, for the work. But the client is putting pressure that we need the job today, we need it tomorrow. Ideally, the voice should have probably rested for a day or two to be okay for that job, but they want it. So you have to do it. You will struggle to do it, but it gets to the client and they are okay with it. So of course there are times where you do the work and you yourself, you're like, this one there, but it goes and then they are okay with it. And you're like, okay.
Which step is the most difficult? The scripting, the reading, and what else?
The production.
The production. Which of these steps are the most difficult?
Well, I would say the reading, because most of the scripts come, already made by these advertising agencies and whoever brings the script. Of course, there are instances where you'll be asked to write a script, but mostly they are brought in. And sometimes a script would have like, let's say 4 or 5 lines, but will have like 3 different emotions in there. So you have to first read the script, understand it, and look at the delivery. And I don't just call it reading, I call it performance. It's voice performance. You're performing that script. Because when you hear a radio commercial and the person is upset, you can tell this, hey, this lady is really happy. Oh, what a sad lady. You get it. It all comes in the performance of the voice. So if you do not understand the script well, you cannot be able to deliver well. So I would say the reading is difficult. And a lot of the times, even radio presenters, people who sit on radio and talk, for a longer period, and people think that they can just do the voiceover. They come and they struggle. Sometimes when you come into my studio, I will look at you. You read because you are the one the client has chosen. They know what they saw in you. But if I called you to come and do it for me for a client, that one I will direct you to do it the way I want it. But if a client brings you in, that one anyhow you do it. And mostly the clients are there. So they are okay with it. So it's not easy reading. There's been presenters who come and Charlie, they take hours to read even 2 lines.
What does it take to be able to read?
What it takes, like I said, you first of all need to understand the script. Okay, and then also the voice texture. You see, if you're talking, you have a nice voice or you're talking all right. But if you're to do a voiceover, that would be different.
Will you need extra pipes?
You can say, this is CNN, and this is CNN. There's a difference. So, Senior Okasa, the way you talk is different from the way you read the script. So there's a technique, and you need to have that. So it doesn't necessarily mean that because you're a preacher or you're a presenter, so you can just do it. I always say that voiceover presenters are the best. The guys who do voiceover, when they get into presenting, they are always solid in the game. And there's been a number of them, that we have in the system that people love, but they don't know that even in acting, if you do voiceover, you're solid in your acting. Yes, then you know the dynamism of your voice. You know how to, roll the voice, how to bring in inflections anytime it is needed and all that. Yeah.
So how much do you charge for your work? Give us a range.
How much I charge?
Yes.
Well, that depends
On
the volume of work, because we have documentary scripts, and then we have a 60-second script, and then all that, 30 seconds, 45. But I don't charge if it is a radio commercial, and relationship also comes in as well. So if we have a relationship, I could say, okay, pay 1,000, or same script that I could do for someone at 2,000, I can do for you at 500 or 800. And sometimes someone will come tell you, the thing is urgent, and you need to help a brother out. Even you may not even know the person, but the way they will come and talk, you just want to help. So for the charging there, it depends on so many things. But the least I take is 500.
Has there been an instance where you've done pro bono work for someone and it's till now they haven't paid?
Of course. I remember, I don't know if I should mention, it's a very big company in Ghana, a bank in Ghana. Mm-hmm. I wrote the script. I did it in English. They said they liked it, and I was supposed to translate it into Chi. I did, and read it for them. It ran on the major radio stations here in Ghana. But the guy who went for the job never brought me my share. He actually did nothing. All he did was to just go to the client and seek for the job. He didn't know how to write the script. He brought it. I did the scripting. I used my own studio and my own time in recording and editing, post-production and everything, and did the translation, and still he went for the money.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's been like 3 years. He never came back. I've been calling him an everyday story. So for almost a year now,
You let go.
Okay, yeah. He's not going to pay. Yeah. So those are some of the things.
We're taking a break here. Let's take a quick breather as we go over to Abrantepa, who will be bringing us the discovery segment.
I'm a ghetto girl, and I'm not coming from a rich family. I'm coming from a cool, humble home where someone kwechima undidi. What I say? There is no food for you. Okay. See, being in the ghetto, then passing through a normal and like a bravo heading, sometimes heading. So Enona inspire me to write those kind of music.
Right, so welcome to the Discovery segment, Talk Attainment. My name is Abrantepa, and today we're a female is featuring on the show. She goes by the name Ms. AJ. I
started singing when I was 6 years old. I started doing it in church. Yeah, but officially, I think 2 years. Okay. Things are moving on well. Though we don't have enough money financially, we are broke small, but things are going on well. So we are hoping that investors will invest in us. My target is say by 2-3 years. Na nyankopon edinsi bibi pa Bia bebo yedi. Hey Miss AJ, hey Miss AJ. That's my target. And I'm working towards it.
Okay. BB SC. You just thought say, oh Charlie. I mean I'm not crying, then just focus on something else.
Okay, and your my dear, see. As for you can't say oh I'm out for boo
Or
abem, yeah. But music music is me. Though when I'm down, when I'm heartbroken, it's music that consoles me. And see, it's there, but me there is nothing. Obi anyo botum we chede one major anyum no nothing unless I die.
Have you ever written a song out of the pain or
Yes.
the challenge you were going through?
Yes.
Which song was that?
Life.
Okay.
Unreleased.
Oh, I see. What were you going through at the time?
Yeah, it's all about my life, the things that I've been through, growing up and stuff. So it's about the hustle and what was it? Chia. And we there in a year in Kanye, Kasana Mika Bibi there, where I come from. It's hard. Why it's Nyoma Yosana ya for me. Yeah. That is what I made share or your life, you know. Into well, let's say, you even cry for me. If you know where I do go chop, you won't even dare. You will give me bread for free. Should I tell you all my secrets? You won't even dare. You will even cry for me. If you know the things that I go through, you wouldn't even hate. You would even say I'm saved by grace. What kind of life is this? But I'm used to this. I know which way to go. What kind of life is this? But I'm used to this. I know which way to go.
It's okay. We don't want to cry. That's Miss AJ on the Discovery segment. My name is Abrantipa. Before we go to LC to continue with the interview, Miss AJ will take us away. I don't know the song you want to perform. Yeah, okay, right. So let's go.
Nyanke frikotia na yewa jefemu. Kaya chesika ya yechenu mienu sayambo gampa ya na ya pemu fise yenya mendayo ya bogamba ye yenida sonsa ye ade biansa ye yenya mendayo ya bogamba ye yenida sonsa ye ade biansa ye yako
Welcome back. That was an interesting one. Ato Kwamena Aikins is still here with us. So, have you ever done a work for someone and it got rejected, but you found out it was later sold to another client?
No. But I have done something for someone who said, oh, maybe I don't like it. And then I will sell the same idea to a different client, and they will like it, and that'll be it. Yes. And yes, of course, I think so. There are some of them too, you do the work and then they will say, oh, client, and they said, and then later, and you see, some of them are cheap. You won't even be, and you don't listen to all the radio stations anyway. You can only listen to one at a time. So normally, I even love the commercial section of the radio programs than the main programs itself. Because that is where they will play it for me to know that, hey, I won't pay, and no move. You know, because you do it for them, oh, client and say, you know, and then before you realize it's been run in Kumasi, Sunyani, and all that. And you only be there, someone who knows your voice will call. And the unfortunate thing is that this work is not, you don't show your face. And I like it so anyway. Because looking at the number of commercials I've done so far, if it was TV, I don't think I could have eaten my wachi at that corner and taking my trotro and all that. Yes, so of course, people who know your voice will hear it and call you and tell you that, oh, I met Caesar, why advert a challenge and cable. Then that is where you realize that, hey, that job the guy said, and then you have to call the guy. And that's how we say it more way. The people rejected, when your mommy fine, let me follow up most of the time. Oh boy, why just Canadian? You know.
What do you think we are not doing in terms of ads and commercials in this country?
What we're not doing, I think it's about scripting. You see, for me, when I'm watching TV and commercials come, I know which one was professionally done, as in professionally scripted. So I will tell that this was given to an ad agency. This one they're quenching for binom, yeah. You know, and a lot of the clients will go like, oh, ni advert kroya. Ni advert kroya, masa. When the camera back could be see, I know of one major, a big company in Ghana, were shooting a TV commercial for them, and the guy, we had actually given him a budget, and then he was like, "Now camera, moving." They said, "Me, this is me studio." Meanwhile, the cameras we were talking, his was a TV camera. You see, for TV, professional TV camera, so you can't even use it for like commercials. But the guy said he had cameras. So we had to go for those cameras to come and use for the commercial. And I think at the time the guy had written, was it 5D Mark III and co, you know, in his budget, that those were the ones he was going to use. And, you know, but the man said, no, go to my studio and go and pick those professional TV cameras and go and use it for the advert, you know. And some of them too, they will just give it to anybody. You give them a budget. Hey, advert in Kwan and say, no. And so somebody will come, and then let's say you give let's say 15,000 or 20,000 budget. Someone will come and say, "Oh, give me 4,500." You know, and once look at the difference. So sure, it doesn't necessarily mean that someone taking you a huge amount is going to do a good job for you. That one there, it's there. You know, those instances are there. But in a case where someone is taking 20,000 and someone comes and is taking 4,500, there's surely going to be a difference in production, you know. So sometimes the clients themselves, I would say mostly, yes, it depends on what they want. But if you carry it to an ad agency, they are going to do a lot. You know, sometimes it could be a 360, billboard, radio, TV, you know, and print and stuff like that. So 360, and they will write a concept that will run through all the 360 campaign they are doing for you. So if you pick it, can I mention a product? Mm-hmm. Let's say drop diam that came, you know. Drop diam, you see it in their TV, you hear it in their radio, on their billboards and all that. That's a 360 they did for the people, for that client. Okay. Now, someone to go like, oh, massa, and that the amount they paid for that job, you have no idea. Until those who will be, and you want a commercial, you've seen that commercial and you want the same thing, and they give you a bill, and you're like, Charlie, where do you mean to me? And then someone comes and say, oh, 5,000. Oh, then come and do it for me. You should know what you're going to get.
Ever listen to an ad and then gnashed your teeth?
Oh yeah, especially with the voices. You hear somebody, you're like, oh, what day? You can tell that this is a green, someone so green to the field. And you see, it doesn't mean that someone who is green cannot do it. If someone doesn't know how to do voiceover, this is your first time, you could still be coached to do it well. You may not have done a voice commercial before, but I can coach you to do one that when you yourself, you hear it, you'll be amazed. You ask yourself, is that your voice? Did you do it? And then there are some that, it's just. And so there are some radio stations, if you listen very well, even with the radio stations, some of them, the adverts you hear, I tell people that this advert cannot be on this channel. Let's say I hear it on radio A, and I'm like, this advert will not be accepted on radio B. And it is like that. Yes, because the voice and the quality of production and all is so low for the standard of, say, radio B. But radio A is okay, Charlie commercial and Abimba. They will accept it anyhow it is. By radio B, they are up there and they will not accept something like that.
Aside scripting and recording voiceovers, what else do you do?
I'm also into concept development. I do a little acting too, and then presenting as well. Yeah.
Tell us about your projects page.
Page 83 concepts.
Page 83 concepts.
Yes, we produced a Fun Home TV show. Initially, it was Fun Home TV game show. Yes, and then now Access, which is running. We also had our very first production, but that one is not out yet. That was before Fun Home. That's Misu Miobika. That one too is there, and yeah. We have a number of productions yet to come out. But the ones that we have out there on the market that you can easily get, that's the Fun Home and then the Access show.
Tell us more about the Access show. I'm interested in that.
You are interested in the Access show. Well, one day maybe the table will turn. I will also be interviewing you on the Access show, provided you'll be ready to talk about
I'll
your
come,
ex.
but I won't show my face though.
Okay, we can announce you on the show, so you wear your mask.
Well.
And then, so you see, even this era helps. Can wear your face mask and then can which means their boss bear 5. So someone sees
My ex of 3 years will still know I'm the one.
Well, that is for him, but maybe your friends wouldn't know that's you. Yeah. So with Access show, you come. With Access, we realized that a lot of relationships went bad, just probably because of impatience. I will quote something from Uncle Ebo White, one of his plays. He said, "People, that is terms of divorce. People bury love alive. The love is there, but ego. Sorry. And a lot of the stories that I hear, I realize that, Charlie, with a little communication, a little patience, that could have worked. The love could have been there, but Makuma was raw. Wakuma was raw. And so at the end of the day, Charlie,
You throw it away.
yeah. And people still go, I have had people who come on the show and they're like, there was a lady who said, if all exes were like her ex, there wouldn't be any exes. And that, Onyanya, okay, they will come back. So I'm yet to stage a comeback for the two of them and see how that will work out.
So, I was coming to that. So I wanted to ask you, is your show just about having them on it to talk about their experience? Or what are you doing if there's a possibility to bring some back together? Have you ever thought of, rekindling?
Well, yes, we have. We have. The thing is that some of them too, you ask them. And if you watch the show, this question I almost always ask. What if the person comes back today and says, I'm sorry? Some will not even let you land. No. Some too will be like, then you know that there's that chance. But there was one lady who actually came clean and said, she came plain and said, Charlie, I wish we were back again. If he comes back today, I'll accept him. I still want him. I still need that guy in my life. Yeah, so those instances are the ones that will make the move and see if it is possible. If the other party's mind day, if the mind day, then we'll bring them together. Yes.
Are you married?
Yes, I am.
With how many kids?
So far, 4 and still counting.
Wow.
Yeah.
With one woman?
Yes, with one woman.
Do you have an ex?
I would say yes. Of course, I can't deny that fact.
How many?
How many exes? That's more like now the table has said no. I'm supposed to be the presenter
No.
for exes.
So how many?
How many? Just two, or I think just two. Yeah, there are not many.
Why didn't you marry any of your exes?
Why didn't I marry any of them? The very first one, she didn't like me. Yes, I would say so. It's unfortunately for her, it was after I got married that she also fell in love. But then I'd been around her for 5 years, and she still never came around, you know.
Because you didn't have money by then?
I don't know if it's about, I'm not too sure it's about money. You know, you women, you have your own reasons for doing a lot of things. So that one, I cannot fault her for it. It's her own decision. For you know, at the time she was going through a lot and she didn't need anyone to bother her. Yes.
And then the other one?
Well, the other one, it's misunderstanding. And you see, it is some of these experiences that I bring into my creation. Okay. You realize that, no, this thing probably could have worked. And some exes too, they give you troubles. And so why don't we do something around exes? Because I've had my own experience with exes, good and bad. And I'm sure a lot of people too, even on social media, so if you on any ex and nante for like 2 minutes, what will happen?
Hey.
Was it a lot of them? You know, so the other one, I don't want to dodge your question. So why I didn't marry the other one? I think that we both agreed that, hey, it wouldn't work.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
But you're still going to wrap up for us with your voice.
Okay. This is a Talkatainment show with a sweet lady, Elsie. And today, Ato Aikins happened to be the guest. So keep watching the show. Yes, it's a wonderful one.
We are in the season of sharing, connection, and renewal of faith. That is why Samsung is giving you the perfect gift so you can reach out to those you love. Get a brand new Samsung Galaxy A02s 64GB for 749 cedis, reduced from 799 cedis, and a brand new Samsung Galaxy A02 32GB for 499 cedis, reduced from 599 cedis.
9, oh yeah.